launch event of India's prestigious LVM-3 M4 Chandrayaan-3, the mission of ISRO to the moon. I am Madhuri giving the commentary in English. With me is my co-commentator Shri Vikas Swarnkar giving the commentary in Hindi. We are joining you from the Mission Control Center at Satish Dhawan Space Centre, Shar, Sriharikota, the spaceport of India. The launch of LVM-3 M4 Chandrayaan-3 is scheduled to take place today, the 14th of July 2023 at 14:35 hours Indian Standard Time from the second launch pad. The mission intends to place Chandrayaan-3 weighing 3,900 kilograms into an elliptical parking orbit having a perigee of 170 kilometers, an apogee of 36,500 kilometers, and an inclination of 21.3 degrees. Eventually, the destination of Chandrayaan-3 is the moon, located 384,000 kilometers away, which will be achieved through a series of orbit raising and course correction maneuvers over the next few weeks.
नमस्कार। भारतीय अंतरिक्ष अभियान और इसरो के गौरवपूर्ण इतिहास में एक और अध्याय जुड़ने जा रहा है, जिसके साक्षी हम सब होंगे। आज 14 जुलाई 2023 को इसरो के सतीश धवन अंतरिक्ष केंद्र के श्रीहरिकोटा के द्वितीय प्रमोचन मंच से भारतीय मानक समय के अनुसार दोपहर 2:35:17 पर LVM-3 M4 चंद्रयान-3 मिशन का प्रमोचन किया जाएगा। यह पूरे भारतवर्ष के लिए एक उत्साह और गौरवपूर्ण भरा समय है। हम मिशन नियंत्रण कक्ष से मैं विकास स्वर्णकार अपने साथी कमेंटेटर मिस माधुरी पी के साथ आप सभी दर्शकों का हार्दिक स्वागत करते हैं। हम आपको मिशन से जुड़ी सारी जानकारियां तथा आंखों देखा हाल सुनाते रहेंगे, तो बने रहिए हमारे साथ और साक्षी बनिए इस ऐतिहासिक मिशन के लिए। इस मिशन को कुल 4 मुख्य भागों में बांटा गया है। पहला, चंद्रयान-3 अंतरिक्ष यान को LVM-3 द्वारा 170/36,500 किलोमीटर की इलिप्टिकल पार्किंग ऑर्बिट में 21 डिग्री के झुकाव के साथ अंतक्षेपित किया जाना। दूसरा, पृथ्वी की कक्षा को छोड़ चंद्रमा की कक्षा में जाना। तीसरा, चंद्रमा की सतह पर लैंडर का सुरक्षित लैंड करना। और अंत में रोवर का चंद्रमा की सतह पर विचरण करके तात्विक तथा रासायनिक विश्लेषण कर वैज्ञानिक आंकड़े जुटाना।
On your TV screen, Honorable Minister of State for Science and Technology and Prime Minister's Office, Dr. Jitendra Singh.
जी हाँ, आज के मुख्य अतिथि के रूप में यहाँ उपस्थित हैं विज्ञान और प्रौद्योगिकी राज्य मंत्री माननीय डॉक्टर जितेंद्र सिंह।
We are about 31 minutes from the scheduled launch time. You're watching this live from the Mission Control Center. Apart from Doordarshan, you can also watch the launch event on ISRO website, YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
आपको ज्ञात हो, चंद्रयान-1 22 अक्टूबर 2008 को PSLV C11 द्वारा प्रक्षेपित किया गया था और 8 नवंबर 2008 को वह चंद्रमा की कक्षा में जाने में सफल रहा था और अपने मिशन का उद्देश्य पूरा किया, जिसमें चंद्रमा पर पानी की खोज भी शामिल है। फिर 29 अगस्त 2009 में चंद्रयान-1 से हमारा संपर्क किसी कारणवश टूट गया, लेकिन इस मील के पत्थर ने चंद्रयान-2 का मार्ग प्रशस्त किया था। चंद्रयान-2, जिसमें ऑर्बिटर के साथ चंद्रमा की सतह पर उतरने के लिए लैंडर और आसपास के क्षेत्र का विश्लेषण करने के लिए रोवर की अभिकल्पना की गई थी। चंद्रयान-2 को जुलाई 2019 को भेजा गया था। इसमें ऑर्बिटर ने भली भांति अपना मिशन पूरा किया, लेकिन लैंडर मॉड्यूल चंद्रमा की सतह पर सुरक्षित उतरने में असफल रहा था। इसके पश्चात गहन अध्ययन और उन्नत तकनीक से परिपूर्ण सभी परीक्षणों और सिमुलेशन के पश्चात तैयार है सुदृढ़ चंद्रयान-3। आपको संक्षिप्त में LVM-3 M4 प्रमोचक यान की जानकारी देते हैं। LVM-3 प्रमोचक यान अन्य सभी यानों की तुलना में सबसे अधिक विकसित तथा उन्नत अभिकल्पित किया गया है। इसकी ऊंचाई 43.5 मीटर तथा व्यास 4 मीटर का होता है। इसका कुल उत्थापन भार 640 टन का होता है। यह 3 चरणीय यान है जिसकी क्षमता 4 टन के नितभार को भूतुल्यकालीय अंतरण कक्षा में यानी 180 बाई 36,000 किलोमीटर में ले जाने की क्षमता है तथा 8 टन के नितभार को निम्न कक्षा में स्थापित करने की क्षमता है। इस यान में प्रथम चरण में 2 S200 स्टेप-ऑन बूस्टर्स लगे होते हैं जो कि ठोस नोदक पर आधारित चरण हैं, जिन्हें सतीश धवन अंतरिक्ष केंद्र में उन्नत और परिपक्व उत्पादन प्रणाली द्वारा निर्मित किया जाता है। दोनों S200 के मध्य में L110 चरण है जो कि तरल नोदक पर आधारित चरण है और इसके ऊपर की ओर 28 टन के क्रायोजेनिक ईंधन वाले C20 इंजन का प्रयोग करते हुए C25 चरण है जो कि भारत का सबसे बड़ा क्रायोजेनिक इंजन है। इसे इसरो के लिक्विड प्रोपल्शन सिस्टम सेंटर IPRC द्वारा विकसित किया गया है।
As we await the launch, let me tell the viewers about the flight events for LVM-3 M4 Chandrayaan-3 mission. At T0, the twin S200s will be ignited and the mighty LVM-3 rocket lifts off. The core L110 stage is airlit 108 seconds into the flight, while the rocket is at an altitude of 45 kilometers. The S200 strap-ons and L110 will thrust together for the next 20 seconds. Thereafter, the strap-ons will separate at 127 seconds past launch time, while the rocket is at 62 kilometers altitude. The relative velocity gained by the rocket in the meantime is 1.59 kilometers per second. At an altitude of 71 kilometers, closed loop guidance is initiated for LVM-3. Separation of payload fairing takes place at 195 seconds past the launch at an altitude of 115 kilometers. The core 110 stage, having completed its burn time of about 200 seconds, is separated from the ongoing rocket. This event takes place at 306 seconds into the flight. At this point of time, the altitude will be 175 kilometers and the rocket would have acquired 4.2 kilometers per second relative velocity. Then the upper cryogenic stage C25 ignites 2 seconds later and continues to burn for close to 650 seconds. During the operational regime of C25, the largest relative velocity addition takes place. It increases from 4.178 kilometers per second to 9.804 kilometers per second. And the most awaited moment of the Chandrayaan-3 separation is scheduled to take place at 969.7 seconds into the flight. The altitude will be 179.3 kilometers, which is a part of elliptical transfer orbit of 170 by 36,500 kilometers. From then on, the moon craft Chandrayaan-3 would commence its journey to the moon.
इस मिशन का काउंटडाउन 25.5 घंटे पूर्व शुरू हो चुका है और इस दौरान रॉकेट तथा अंतरिक्ष यान को पावर ऑन कर सभी तंत्रों की स्वास्थ्य जांच की जा रही है। इस दौरान L110 चरण तथा क्रायोजेनिक चरण पर ईंधन का भराव सुनिश्चित किया जा चुका है। यह काम प्रमोचन मंच से सुदूर स्थल पर पूर्ण स्वचालित तकनीक से पूर्ण सुरक्षा के साथ संपूर्ण किया जाता है। आप अभी अपनी स्क्रीन पर यहाँ व्यूअर्स गैलरी का दृश्य देख रहे हैं। बहुत भारी संख्या में यहाँ लोग उपस्थित हुए हैं इस रोमांचक दृश्य को देखने के लिए। मौसम विभाग के अनुसार मौसम पूरी तरह सामान्य अनुकूल है इस प्रमोशन के लिए। अब आपके सामने प्रस्तुत है LVM-3 का इंटीग्रेशन वीडियो।
We bring to you a small clipping of the integration video for the LVM-3 rocket.
Minus 25 minutes.
On your TV screens, you are watching the visuals from second vehicle assembly building where the full LVM-3M4 rocket has been assembled. These are the strap-on boosters getting assembled segment by segment.
Roger.
Each S200 has got 3 segments
Roger.
called nozzle end segment, middle segment and head end segment, to which the nozzle is assembled, and one after the other the segments are joined together. When the fully assembled solid rocket booster is handled carefully with a crane and being lowered on to the mobile launch pedestal as an integrated rocket, the igniter assembly then takes place, and this is the strap-on nose cones. On your TV screens, it is the core L110 stage being brought to the second vehicle assembly building for tilting and assembly between the S200 boosters.
जी हाँ, अभी आपने देखा दोनों S200 स्टब-ऑन बूस्टर्स के साथ L110 को भी संलग्न कर दिया गया है और यह है क्रायोजेनिक अपर स्टेज, CH-25 कहा जाता है इसे। बहुत ही जटिल इंजन है ये C-20 इंजन। बहुत ही सावधानी पूर्वक पूरी दक्षता के साथ यह कार्य संपन्न किया जाता है। यह है इक्विपमेंट बे जो कि दिमाग है इस रॉकेट का, और यह है हमारा प्रोपल्शन मॉड्यूल, चंद्रयान 3 का प्रोपल्शन मॉड्यूल है ये। चंद्रयान 2 के पश्चात इसमें काफी सुधार किए गए हैं। 758 वॉट के सोलर पैनल्स लगे हुए हैं, 440 न्यूटन के थ्रस्टर्स हैं, और यहाँ आप देख रहे हैं लैंडर और रोवर को। ये रोवर है जो चंद्रमा में विचरण करेगा। पूरी सावधानी के साथ इसे संयोजित कर दिया जाता है, और यह लैंडर मॉड्यूल रोवर के साथ अब इस लैंडर मॉड्यूल को प्रोपल्शन मॉड्यूल के साथ संयोजित कर दिया जा रहा है।
Minus 22 minutes. Request all stations change over to channel 2 at T minus 21 minutes. No confirmation
सभी
is needed
परीक्षण
to control.
पूर्ण होने के पश्चात
MCC confirms data from chain 2.
इस समुच्चय को पेलोड फेयरिंग के अंदर सुरक्षित कर दिया जा रहा है। पेलोड एडेप्टर, अंतरिक्ष यान और पेलोड फेयरिंग, इन सभी के समुच्चय को एनकैप्सुलेटेड असेंबली कहते हैं। अब इसे व्हीकल असेंबली बिल्डिंग लाया जा रहा है और क्रेन की मदद से इसे क्रायो स्टेज के ऊपर संयोजित किया जा रहा है। अब पूर्णतः तैयार LVM-3M4 रॉकेट व्हीकल असेंबली बिल्डिंग से निकलकर लॉन्च पैड की ओर जा रहा है। इसे मोबाइल लॉन्च पेडेस्टल पर रखकर करीब
21 minutes.
1 किलोमीटर
Request
की दूरी
all
तय की जाती
stations
है।
change over to channel 2.
Roger.
RSO to ROD, range safety systems are ready.
Roger.
CNC to TTC director.
अब इसे सावधानी पूर्वक लॉन्च पैड ले आया गया है और बाकी की स्वास्थ्य जांच यहां से पूरी की
All
जाएंगी।
stations to note, event number 430 and 431 is completed. Chandrayaan-3
पूर्ण संयोजित और तैयार LVM-3M4 रॉकेट आगे की जांच तथा तरल नोदक का भराव यहां संपन्न किया जाता है।
The LVM-3M4 rocket standing majestically against a picturesque background in the second launch pad. LVM-3 rocket will fly for the 7th launch today. 43.5 meters tall and 642 tons heavy launch vehicle has been operationalized
20
after
minutes.
an experimental and 2 developmental missions. Mission executives on your screen. That's the spacecraft director
Control to note event number
and
430 is
associate
complete.
spacecraft director. LVM-3 is India's largest and heaviest launch vehicle, ferrying Indian and international customer satellites.
Vehicle Director to Mission Director. LVM-3 M4 launch vehicle is ready for the Chandrayaan-3 mission. Mission Director Roger.
Mission Director to
अब हम
Chandrayaan-3
उड़ान से
spacecraft,
19
both
मिनट
propulsion
12
module
सेकंड
and
की
lander
दूरी पर
module health is normal and cleared for launch.
Mission Director Roger.
ROD to Mission Director. Range is ready for LVM-3 M4 Chandrayaan-3 launch.
Minus 19 minutes.
Mission Director Roger.
TTC Director to Mission Director, all ISROC stations and network is ready to support LVM-3 M4 Chandrayaan-3 mission.
रेंज ऑपरेशन डायरेक्टर, टेलीमेट्री ट्रैकिंग एंड कमांड डायरेक्टर, सैटेलाइट डायरेक्टर और व्हीकल डायरेक्टर अपने तंत्रों की जानकारी मिशन डायरेक्टर को देते हैं.
All necessary clearances are obtained for the launch of LVM-3 M4 Chandrayaan-3 mission. Mission Readiness Review Committee and Launch Authorization Board have already given authorization for the launch of LVM-3 M4 Chandrayaan-3 mission. Based on the readiness of vehicle systems, range, spacecraft and TTC confirmed by respective mission executives and the prevailing favorable weather conditions, Mission Director hereby authorizes for the launch operation sequence of launch of LVM-3 M4 Chandrayaan-3 mission at 14 hours 35 minutes 17 seconds Indian Standard Time today, the 14th July 2023 from second launch pad of SDSC Shar.
Control Roger. All stations to know. Mission Director has given authorization for launch.
जी हाँ, अभी आपने घोषणा सुनी. मिशन डायरेक्टर ने इस लॉन्च के लिए ऑटोमेटिक लॉन्च सीक्वेंस शुरू करने का अनुमोदन दे दिया है. इसके पश्चात व्हीकल डायरेक्टर एलएस ऑटोमेटिक लॉन्च सीक्वेंस शुरू करेंगे.
On your screens, you have just watched Mission Director Shri Mohan Kumar giving clearance for the initiation of automatic launch sequence. This is based on the confirmation of readiness of all participating team for range, launch vehicles, spacecraft and tracking. The automatic launch sequence is scheduled to begin at T-14 minutes 30 seconds, as a part of which the most critical control system elements are checked for the launch vehicle.
Minus 17 minutes.
Very close to the launch time, control will be passed on to the onboard
Roger.
computers.
VLCC to LCC to note. Timing
व्यूअर्स
confirmed
गैलरी
with
दर्शकों से
external full
खचाखच भरी हुई.
VLCC Roger.
बहुत भारी संख्या में यहाँ लोग उपस्थित हुए हैं. आप सभी का हार्दिक स्वागत है सतीश धवन अंतरिक्ष केंद्र में.
Enthusiastic viewers from all across the country gathering at Satish Dhawan Space Centre Launch View Gallery for witnessing this historic moment of Chandrayaan-3 launch.
stations. Copied.
The countdown for LVM-3 M4 Chandrayaan-3 mission has lasted for 25 and a half hours. It was commenced on 1:30 p.m. yesterday.
While of operation of hydrogen tank.
During countdown, the launch vehicle
Minus
stages are
16
serviced with propellants.
Vehicle Director to
Gas
ALS
bottles
console.
meant for stage
Vehicle
operations are
Director
charged,
authorizes
while the Earth
automatic launch
storable
sequence
propellant
for the
filling was
LVM-3
concluded
M4
more than
Chandrayaan-3
16
mission.
hours ago.
ALS
The
Roger.
cryogenic propellants
SDS servers activated. MC confirms data from SHAR-1 and
अभी अभी
SHAR-2.
कंफर्म किया गया है. व्हीकल डायरेक्टर श्री बीजूसी थॉमस ने ऑटोमेटिक लॉन्च सीक्वेंस शुरू कर दिया है. अब यह लॉन्च व्हीकल LVM-3 M4 रॉकेट ऑटोमेटिक लॉन्च सीक्वेंस के अंतर्गत
Automatic launch
है. इसका
sequence
मतलब
initiated
ऑनबोर्ड
for
कंप्यूटर
LVM-3 M4
पूरी
launch.
तरह स्वचालित हो चुका है.
ALS in auto mode.
We are very close to the launch. And the day of launch, wind biasing data is fed during the countdown to the onboard computers to enable most suitable steering of the launch vehicle through atmosphere. Up next, we will watch a curtain raiser video on this
Event
mission.
number 465, request CGSS to confirm supply of GN2 to cryogenic.
Moon. This familiar object in the night sky has inspired the imagination of astronomers and ordinary people alike. From time immemorial, humans have marveled at the beauty of the moon, used it to count time and navigate the high seas. In modern times, Moon, the only natural satellite of the Earth, has acquired added importance due to the belief that Moon is the key to our understanding of the evolution of the solar system in general and Earth in particular.
14 minutes.
Besides, Moon's precious resources and low gravity have further endeared it to humans. India, a major spacefaring nation, has conducted a detailed exploration of the Moon through its Chandrayaan program. The country has sent 2 robotic spacecraft to orbit the Moon and to take a repeated look at its surface. Chandrayaan-3 demonstrated India's ability to reach the surface of the Moon at a place and time of its choice. And with it, India became the 4th country to reach the surface of the Moon in November 2008. Besides, Chandrayaan-1's conclusive discovery of water on the Moon in 2009 was praised as a path-breaking discovery. The follow-on mission, Chandrayaan-2, had an orbiter, a lander called Vikram, and a rover named Pragyan. In the past 4 years, the orbiter has repeatedly observed the lunar surface and even today is working satisfactorily. Now, 3,900 kilograms Chandrayaan-3 spacecraft is being sent to the Moon with the objective of making yet another focused attempt to slowly land on the lunar surface and to explore it with the help of a rover. Following the spacecraft launched by India's most capable rocket LVM-3, the Chandrayaan-3 lander carrying a rover within it will be carried into an orbit around the Moon by the propulsion module. A little later, the lander will separate from that module and will attempt to make a soft landing in the south polar region of the
-12
Moon.
minutes.
This region is of intense interest as it has many permanently shadowed craters which could contain water ice and precious minerals. Chandrayaan-3 lander has 4 scientific instruments or payloads, of which one will study the moonquakes, while the other one studies as to how the surface of the Moon allows heat to flow through it. The third one will study the plasma environment near the Moon's surface. And the 4th instrument will enable scientists to measure the distance between the Earth and Moon very accurately. The 2 instruments on the rover help us study the composition of the Moon's surface using X-rays and laser respectively. While the lander and rover will be in direct contact with each other, the propulsion module circling the Moon will observe the light coming from Earth, the only planet which we know which is definitely teeming with life. This observation will help in understanding the nature of distant planets circling stars other than the Sun. As Chandrayaan-3 undergoes important tests and gears up for launch, thousands of ISRO scientists, including those who will launch it, control it, and receive the precious scientific information from it using giant dish antennas, are readying themselves for the challenging tasks ahead. In the past, Their dedication and skill have enabled India to earn praise from across the world and made it proud. Let us wish them well in this great endeavor called Chandrayaan-3.
10 minutes.
आपके सामने हैं इसरो के अध्यक्ष श्री एस सोमनाथ। अभी अभी आपने देखा एक संक्षिप्त वीडियो जिसमें एनिमेशन की मदद से इस पूरे मिशन की यात्रा को बताया गया है, इस मिशन के ऑब्जेक्टिव को समझाया गया।
Tank level correction completed.
Chandrayaan-3 has two predecessors with destination moon as their mission objective. Chandrayaan-1, launched by PSLV C11 in October 2008, included lunar orbiter and impactor. During the mission life of around 10 months, Chandrayaan-1 had mapped the minerals on lunar surface, acquired 70,000 images to help create 3D atlas of moon, and what's more, found water on moon's polar regions. Chandrayaan-2, launched by LVM-3 on 22nd of July 2019, consisted of lunar orbiter, lander named Vikram, and rover named Pragyan. The orbiter is still providing insightful scientific information through its payloads like spectrometers, synthetic aperture radar, and cameras.
चंद्रयान 3 की चंद्रमा की सतह में उतरने के इस मिशन को कुल 10 चरणों में पूरा किया जाएगा। संक्षेप में यह इस प्रकार है। सर्वप्रथम चंद्रयान 3 को LVM-3 प्रमोचक रॉकेट द्वारा पृथ्वी की एलिप्टिकल टारगेट ऑर्बिट, जो कि 170 बाई 36,500 किलोमीटर की ऑर्बिट है, उसमें प्रमोचित किया जाएगा। वहां से चंद्रयान में मैन्यूवर कर पृथ्वी की गुरुत्वाकर्षण की सहायता से चंद्रयान की गति को वृद्धि की जाएगी। फिर चंद्रयान पृथ्वी की कक्षा से निकलकर चंद्रमा की कक्षा में जाएगा। चंद्रमा की कक्षा में जाते ही उसमें फिर से मैन्यूवर कर चंद्रमा की 100 किलोमीटर की वृत्ताकार कक्षा में स्थापित किया जाएगा। फिर सही समय आने पर लैंडर मॉड्यूल को प्रोपल्शन मॉड्यूल से पृथक कर दिया जाएगा। यह आप अपनी स्क्रीन पर देख पा रहे हैं, यह है प्रोपल्शन मॉड्यूल। प्रोपल्शन मॉड्यूल का मुख्य उद्देश्य है लैंडर तथा रोवर को पृथ्वी की कक्षा से चंद्रमा की कक्षा में, जो कि 100 किलोमीटर की वृत्ताकार कक्षा होगी, उसमें उचित अभिवृत्ति में लैंडर मॉड्यूल को अपने से पृथक कर चंद्रमा की सतह पर भेजना है। ऐसा करने के लिए इसमें MMH और मॉन का प्रयोग कर 440 न्यूटन के थ्रस्टर्स वाले इंजन्स लगे हुए हैं। इसमें आवश्यक संचार सुविधाएं भी उपलब्ध हैं।
Speaking about the major milestones in the journey of Chandrayaan-3 to the moon, the spacecraft consists of propulsion module, lander, and rover. Lander is planned to touch down at south pole of moon. The major 10 phases of the mission are: the first phase, called the Earth-centric phase, comprises of pre-launch, launch, ascent, and earthbound maneuver. While the second phase is the lunar transfer phase, as the name suggests, the Chandrayaan spacecraft moves closer to the moon. Next 8 phases are in the moon orbit. The third being the lunar orbit insertion, followed by the moon-bound maneuvers phase, which mark the fourth phase. And next is, it is now that the propulsion module separates from the lunar module
6 minutes.
when 100 by 100 circular orbit of the moon is achieved. The Chandrayaan-3 in its sixth phase carries out D-boost from 100 kilometers to 100 by 30 kilometers orbit, followed by the pre-landing phase as seventh phase, and then the most awaited landing phase takes place.
आपके सामने है मिशन नियंत्रण कक्ष का दृश्य। सभी सेंटर डायरेक्टर्स अपने स्क्रीन पर देख रहे हैं कि ऑटोमेटिक लॉन्च सीक्वेंस किस तरह पूरा हो रहा है। दर्शक दीर्घा भी इस इंतजार पे। प्रमोशन से हम 5 मिनट की दूरी पर हैं।
-5 minutes.
Most of you might recall the Chandrayaan-2 mission
MC confirms radar
and the
data.
intense moments when all the enthusiastic
Number
Indians were
508, final charging of
waiting for the
Triumph
touchdown of the
progress
lander
test of
on the
Triumph
surface of
system is
Moon.
normal.
The launch view gallery with the overwhelming crowd of visitors.
पूरे दर्शक दीर्घा यहाँ बहुत उत्साहित। मौसम में थोड़ी परेशानी हो सकती है लेकिन सब अपनी सुविधाओं के साथ में यहाँ उपस्थित हुए हैं।
We are close to 4 minutes from the scheduled launch time.
-4 minutes.
Gaining from the heritage of Chandrayaan-2, the Chandrayaan-3 is upgraded in several aspects for the enhanced robustness through
Pyro and wall
extensive
battery
ground
mode.
tests and simulation.
Onboard computer in flight mode.
ऑटोमेटिक लॉन्च सीक्वेंस जारी है। इस दौरान सभी संचार तंत्रों की स्वास्थ्य जांच, बैटरी आवेशन पूर्ण किया जा चुका है। कुछ अंतिम गतिविधियां जैसे ऑनबोर्ड कंप्यूटर पर रियल टाइम प्रोग्राम लोड करना, पायरो लाइन को आर्म मोड में लाना, गैस टैंक्स का अंतिम आवेशन, और यह सभी घटनाएं संतोषजनक तरीके से पूर्ण की जा रही हैं।
-3 minutes.
अब हम उड़ान से 3 मिनट की दूरी पर हैं। प्रमोशन तथा इस प्रमोशन की घटनाक्रम को पहले ही बताया जा चुका है। सर्वप्रथम दोनों S200 स्ट्रप-ऑन बूस्टर प्रज्वलित किए जाएंगे T0 पर।
Pre-flight pressurization of the hydrogen tank commenced.
S200 के प्रज्वलन के 108 सेकंड के पश्चात L110 जो कि
-2 minutes.
तरल नोदक पर आधारित चरण है, इसका प्रज्वलन शुरू कर दिया जाएगा। L110 के प्रज्वलन के पश्चात करीब 137 सेकंड पर S200 बूस्टर्स को यान से पृथक कर दिया जाएगा।
We are close to 1.5 minutes from the scheduled launch time.
सभी दर्शकों को ज्ञात है यह एक ऐतिहासिक मिशन होने वाला है। पूरे भारतवर्ष की आंखें इसमें हैं। इस यादगार पल के लिए यहाँ सब उपस्थित।
-1 minute.
अब हम उड़ान से 1 मिनट की दूरी पर
-55 seconds. -50 seconds.
All sequencers armed. Stage ready.
-45 seconds. -40 seconds.
L110 VHPP opened. MOV 79
-35
open.
seconds. -30 seconds.
Real-time programs activated.
-25 seconds.
L110 VSPP opened.
-20 seconds. -15. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Plus 5 seconds.
Lift off normal.
Here we have a majestic liftoff of
R2 tracking.
LVM-3 M4 rocket carrying India's prestigious Chandrayaan-3 spacecraft.
P2 tracking.
प्रज्वलन और सफलतापूर्ण उत्थापन LVM-3 M4 रॉकेट का। यह भीमकाय रॉकेट आसमान को चीरते हुए अपनी भयानक दहाड़ से चारों ओर कंपन उत्पन्न कर रहा है। इसे हम यहाँ महसूस कर सकते हैं और यही दहाड़ है जो वैज्ञानिकों को रोमांचित करती है। LVM-3 के उत्थापन के साथ ही हमारे अंतरिक्ष यान चंद्रयान-3 की चंद्रमा की यात्रा प्रारंभ हो चुकी है।
As the rocket is soaring through the clear skies, every second moving closer to the accomplishment of the most important milestone in its mission to moon. Every Indian witnessing the launch live is content with the feeling of watching history in the making.
चंद्रमा की सतह पर अपना छाप छोड़ने के लिए चंद्रयान-3 अपने मिशन को पूरा करने निकल चुका है। वर्तमान में दोनों S-200 स्टेप ऑन बूस्टर सामान निष्पादन करते हुए अपनी निर्दिष्ट कक्षा की ओर बढ़ रहे हैं।
The S-200 motors thrusting simultaneously, generating a peak thrust of close to 6,000 kilonewtons in vacuum. They are made of HTPB-based solid propellant, 204.5 tons in each strap-on. Close to 2 tons of propellant being burnt each second.
S-200 स्टेप ऑन बूस्टर्स का कुल प्रज्वलन काल 126 सेकंड का है और अभी अभी घोषणा की गई L110 स्टेज का भी प्रज्वलन शुरू हो चुका है।
Apart from the strap-ons, the core stage has also commenced its operation. This stage, based on combination
200 stages are separated.
of hypergolic earth storable liquid propellants UH-25 and N2O4. Now the S-200s have been separated.
घटनाक्रम के अनुसार इस यान से S-200 स्टेप ऑन बूस्टर्स को सफलतापूर्वक पृथक कर दिया गया है। यह काम सेपरेशन मोटर्स की मदद से किया जाता है। इसके बाद L110 तरल नोदक पर आधारित और विकास इंजन के साथ यह चरण सामान्य निष्पादन करता हुआ अपनी उद्दिष्ट कक्षा की ओर बढ़ रहा है। अभियान क्लोज लूप गाइडेंस के अंतर्गत है।
L110 stage performance normal.
The trajectory of launch vehicle is closely following the prediction.
Payload fairing separated.
जी हाँ, पेलोड फेयरिंग को पृथक कर दिया गया है यान से, क्योंकि यान अब 114.8 किलोमीटर की ऊंचाई प्राप्त कर चुका है। इस चरण का कुल प्रज्वलन काल 200 सेकेंड होता है और इस दौरान यह करीब 1600 किलो न्यूटन का प्रणोद उत्पन्न करता है।
We are 220 seconds past the launch time. Current altitude is 135 kilometers. In the 200 seconds of its operation, the L110 stage carries the rocket up to 175.5 kilometers altitude and imparts a relative velocity of 4.18 kilometers per second, that is 250 kilometers every minute.
L110 stage performance normal.
LVM-3 M4 रॉकेट का द्वितीय चरण पूर्णतः सामान्य निष्पादन करते हुए इस चरण में कुल 113 टन के तरल नोदक भरे जाते हैं। N2O4 तथा UH-25 अर्थ स्टोरेबल प्रोपेलेंट को ईंधन के रूप में प्रयोग किया जाता है इस चरण में।
Cryo stage ignition is authorized.
अगला चरण C25 का प्रज्वलन भावी है।
plus 5 minutes.
One ton stage thrust cut off and separated to C25 ignition command. 25 ignition confirmed.
That's a piece of really good news that the third stage has started its operation. The C25 stage has been ignited.
जी हाँ, एक बहुत ही जटिल प्रक्रिया होती है क्रायो इंजन का इग्निशन, और इसके प्रज्वलन के साथ ही तालियों की गड़गड़ाहट से गूंज उठा है मिशन नियंत्रण कक्ष। तृतीय चरण C25 वर्तमान में प्रणोद उत्पन्न कर रहा है। पूर्णतः सामान्य, सभी तंत्र पूर्णतः सामान्य हैं।
118 kilonewtons thrust in vacuum is what the stage develops with its 28.6 tons propellant combination of liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen. Present altitude
Cryo
is
stage performance normal.
तृतीय और यह अंतिम चरण है इस यान का C25। यह क्रायो ईंधन पर आधारित चरण है जिसमें लिक्विड हाइड्रोजन, लिक्विड ऑक्सीजन का इस्तेमाल होता है। इसमें कुल 28 टन का क्रायो ईंधन पूरी सुरक्षा तथा सावधानी के साथ भरा जाता है। इस चरण में 186 किलोन्यूटन का प्रणोद उत्पन्न होता है और यह करीब 640 सेकंड तक प्रज्वलित रहेगा। इसमें दिशा नियंत्रण के लिए इंजन जिम्बल का इस्तेमाल किया जाता है। क्रायो ईंधन का विशिष्ट आवेग 446 सेकंड के करीब होता है।
currently the rocket is at an altitude of 210 kilometers.
Plus 7 minutes.
While there is no much variation in altitude, this stage will add to the relative velocity immensely.
Cryo stage
आइए
performance
अब आपको
normal.
पेलोड के बारे में जानकारी देते हैं। लैंडर मॉड्यूल्स पे कई वैज्ञानिक प्रयोगों के लिए पेलोड्स लगाए गए हैं।
India's prestigious lunar landing spacecraft Chandrayaan-3 moving closer to its intended injection spot in the orbit. The propulsion module provides propulsion for earthbound maneuvers, translunar injection, and moonbound orbits. It also has a payload to study the spectral and polarimetric measurements of Earth and lunar orbit. The abbreviated name of the payload is SHAPE. Among the payloads of the lander module, the following are included. A landwehr probe called Rambha to measure the near surface plasma density, that is the density of ions and electrons, and its changes with time. The second payload is Chandra's surface thermophysical experiment, or CHASTE, to measure thermal properties of lunar surface near polar regions. To measure the seismicity around the landing site and delineating the structure of the lunar crust and mantle, payload ILSA is there. The rover, after its descent, will further the scientific study objectives through its own payloads. For better understanding of chemical and mineralogical composition of lunar surface, LIBS, or laser-induced breakdown spectroscope, is included. Another payload is the alpha particle X-ray spectrometer.
जी हाँ, लैंडर मॉड्यूल में 3 पेलोड हैं, रोवर में 2 और प्रोपल्शन मॉड्यूल में 1 पेलोड भेजा गया है। चंद्रयान 3 के स्वदेशी लैंडर और रोवर में नितभारों का इस्तेमाल किया जा रहा है। यह अंतर्ग्रही मिशन के लिए भी आवश्यक तकनीकों का प्रदर्शन करेंगे। लैंडर के पास यह क्षमता है कि वह चंद्रमा की उबड़-खाबड़ सतह में भी बड़ी सावधानी से उतर सकेगा और रोवर को बाहर लाने के लिए और संचार सुविधाएं प्रदान करने के लिए सक्षम होगा। चंद्रयान 3 के लैंडर और रोवर में कुल 6 नितभार हैं। रेडियो एस्ट्रोनॉमी ऑफ मून बाउंड हाइपर सेंसिटिव आइनोस्फीयर एंड एटमॉस्फेयर, जिसे शॉर्ट में रंभा कहा जाता है, यह चंद्रमा की सतह के पास प्लाज्मा के घनत्व तथा समय के साथ बदलाव का मापन करेगा। इसके बाद चंद्र सरफेस थर्मोफिजिकल एक्सपेरिमेंट चंद्रमा के ध्रुवीय सतह के आसपास की थर्मल प्रॉपर्टीज का मापन करेगा। इंस्ट्रूमेंट फॉर ल्यूनर सिस्मिक एक्टिविटी लैंडिंग साइट के आसपास के क्षेत्र में भूकंप जैसी गतिविधियों का पता लगाएगा। रोवर में चंद्रमा की सतह के तत्वात्मक विश्लेषण के लिए लेजर इंड्यूस्ड ब्रेकडाउन स्पेक्ट्रोस्कोप और अल्फा पार्टिकल एक्सरे स्पेक्ट्रोस्कोप इसका इस्तेमाल किया जा रहा है। एक बहुत ही दिलचस्प वैज्ञानिक निर्धार है शेप स्पेक्ट्रोपोलैरिमेट्री ऑफ हैबिटेबल प्लैनेट अर्थ, जो कि चंद्रमा से पृथ्वी से परावर्तित नियर इंफ्रारेड किरणों का विश्लेषण दूसरे जीवन सहायक ग्रहों को खोजने में मदद करेगा। वर्तमान में C-25 इंजन कार्यरत है और पूर्णतः सामान्य प्रदर्शन कर रहा है। अब हम प्रमोशन से 700 सेकंड की दूरी पर आ चुके हैं। सापेक्ष गति 6.5 किलोमीटर प्रति सेकंड, ऊंचाई 191 किलोमीटर।
As we have told you about the Chandrayaan-3's upgrades in the aspects of enhanced robustness through extensive ground tests and simulation. During the last phase of landing, the module will have a vertical velocity of less than 1 meter per second and a horizontal velocity of less than 0.5 meters per second from a height of 3 meters. The lander legs are designed to be robust enough to thrive the impact. The cameras are tuned to take pictures ahead of the landing and enable intelligent decision making for choice of best location to land, avoiding craters and boulders on lunar surface. The successive pictures will also enable the craft to determine its horizontal and vertical velocity in real time. Laser Doppler velocity sensor is an upgrade in Chandrayaan-3 over its predecessor. It helps to determine instantaneous velocity of craft. Insights into the behavior of Chandrayaan-2 in the last few minutes of its descent has revealed to the scientists the necessity for upgrade in the guidance algorithm. Inputs from various sensors are used by the autonomous navigation guidance algorithm of Chandrayaan-3 to plan the flight path to the most suitable landing spot. The engines of Chandrayaan-3 are capable of more gradual throttling also.
वर्तमान में हम प्रमोशन से 817 सेकंड की दूरी पर आ चुके हैं। करीब 950 सेकंड पर तृतीय चरण क्रायोजेनिक इंजन को शट ऑफ कर दिया जाएगा। और उचित अभिवृद्धि प्राप्त कर चंद्रयान-3 को यान से पृथक कर दिया जाएगा। चंद्रयान-3 को LVM-3M4 द्वारा एलिप्टिकल पार्किंग ऑर्बिट में लॉन्च करने के पश्चात 170 किलोमीटर की पेरिजी पर क्रमशः 5 बार मैन्यूवरिंग कमांड दिया जाएगा। 5वीं बार में यह पृथ्वी से चंद्रमा की ओर प्रस्थान करेगा, जिसे हम ल्यूनर ट्रांसफर ऑर्बिट के नाम से जानते हैं। फिर 5 अगस्त 2023 को यह चंद्रमा की कक्षा में प्रवेश करेगा और फिर क्रमशः 5 मैन्यूवरिंग के पश्चात प्रोपल्शन मॉड्यूल चंद्रमा की 100 किलोमीटर की वृत्ताकार कक्षा में स्थापित हो जाएगा। यहाँ यह उचित समय और अमृति में लैंडर मॉड्यूल को पृथक करेगा और 23 अक्टूबर 2023 को चंद्रमा की सतह पर लैंडिंग की प्रक्रिया शुरू की जाएगी।
Plus 15 minutes.
We have come close to 900 seconds after the launch. Currently, the C-25 stage is thrusting. Current relative velocity is 9.29 kilometers per second.
जी हाँ, कुछ ही क्षणों में हम देखेंगे तृतीय चरण LVM-3 M4 रॉकेट का चंद्रयान को उद्दिष्ट कक्षा की ओर ले जा रहा है और उद्दिष्ट कक्षा प्राप्त होते ही और उचित अभिवृद्धि प्राप्त होते ही चंद्रयान 3 को अंतक्षेपित कर दिया जाएगा।
Cryo stage thrust cutoff. Satellite injection condition is achieved.
अभी पुष्टि की गई चंद्रयान 3 को प्रमोचन की कक्षा प्राप्त कर ली गई है।
Chandrayaan 3 satellite separated.
चंद्रयान 3 को सफलतापूर्वक अंतक्षेपित कर दिया गया है एलिप्टिकल पार्किंग ऑर्बिट पर।
Chandrayaan-3 has attained a major milestone
LVM-3
successfully.
Chandrayaan-3 mission accomplished. Handing over to mission director.
This is mission director. The LVM-3 M4 Chandrayaan mission accomplished its precise satellite injection conditions. LVM-3 M4 mission is successful. Jai Hind.
The launch has also added a feather in the cap of LVM-3 rocket. You can watch the jubilant congratulatory gestures of ISRO scientists in the Mission Control Center.
जी हाँ, चंद्रयान को सफलतापूर्वक अंतक्षेपित कर दिया गया है, लेकिन चंद्रयान 3 की यात्रा अभी जारी है। अब इस मिशन के बारे में हम अध्यक्ष महोदय से सुनेंगे और हम आपसे आज्ञा लेते हैं।
We sign off. Up next is address by Secretary DOS Chairman ISRO. We sign off. Up next is address by Secretary DOS Chairman ISRO.
Congratulations, India. Congratulations, India.
Chandrayaan-3 has started its journey towards moon. Our dear LVM-3
Chandrayaan-3 has started its journey towards moon
into the precise orbit around Earth.
Our dear LVM-3 has
170 by
already put
36,500 kilometers was
into
its
the
intended
precise
target
orbit around
orbit,
Earth,
and it is precisely there
170
now.
by 36,500
And
kilometers.
let
was
us
its
wish all the
intended
best for
target
the
orbit,
Chandrayaan-3
and it is
craft to
precisely
make its
there
further
now. Orbit
And
racing
let us
maneuvers
wish all
and
the best
travel
for the
towards moon
Chandrayaan-3
in the
craft
coming days.
to make its further
So let me wish
orbit
all the very
racing
best to
maneuvers
Chandrayaan-3
and
for its
travel
further
towards
journey
moon
towards
in the
moon.
coming days.
Before that, let me introduce.
let me wish all the very
team
best to
behind
Chandrayaan-3
this
for its
mission,
further journey
the
towards
mission
moon.
director, Mr.
Before that, let me
Kumar,
introduce
and also
the team
behind this mission,
and also the project
mission
director of
LVM-3,
Mr. Mohan
and
Kumar.
we have also
and
the
also
mission
the
director for
and also the project director of
Craft,
LVM-3,
project director of
and
Chandrayaan-3,
we have also the
so
mission
over
director
to them.
for Mohan.
The Chandrayaan-3 Craft, the
Thank you,
project
sir.
director of Chandrayaan-3, Veeramuthuvel. So over to them, Mohan.
Honorable Minister of State for Science and Technology and Departments of Space and Atomic Energy. Honorable Minister of State for Science and Technology, Dr. Jitendra Singh, Space and Atomic Energy, Chairman ISRO and Secretary Department Dr. Jitendra Singh, former Secretaries of the Department, Chairman ISRO and Secretary Dignitaries and of Space, respected former secretaries of the departments and invitees. I am very happy to report here that respected the LVM-3 M4 vehicle has and invitees. I am very happy to report here that the LVM-3 precise orbit M4 vehicle has injected and once again the vehicle is proved to be the most reliable heavy lift vehicle of and once again Indian Space Research Organization, the most reliable heavy lift vehicle of ISRO family, Indian Space Research Organization. Congratulations. I would like to appraise three things here. ISRO family. The vehicle systems are in the continuous process of quality improvement, especially in the vehicle systems are in the continuous process of human quality improvement, especially in the systems reliable. Secondly, the payload human rating capability of the payload also is improved by reliable. Secondly, the payload as well as capability of the payload also is improved by in the process of increasing strategies as well as frequency of this vehicle considering the national requirements increasing the satellite demands. Frequency of this vehicle considering the national requirements as well as satellite incorporated in this vehicle. For example, the S200 nozzle, they are processed incorporated as per the human rating standards. For example, the S200 nozzle, enabling us to have 100% exactly as per the human rating standards. Characteristics are removed, enabling us to have 100% NDT and because inherent pocket erosion characteristics are removed and qualified to be the human rated engine. Because with indigenously developed NDT 100% qualified to be the human rated engine. With indigenously developed NDT also is eliminated and it is a perfect the backward gas entry also is eliminated and it is a perfect stage also is perfectly seat to this stage also is actually perfectly
so we will describe all those details later because of shortage of time.
Yes, sir. I take this opportunity to thank all the mission executives.
All those details later because of shortage of time.
Yes, sir. I take this opportunity to thank all the mission executives for all the supports all along the launch campaign process as well as the launch for all the supports all along the launch manifest launch campaign process as well as mission executives are identified. Once the really this is a penance of so many released and the mission executives are identified. Our launch really this is a penance of so many IPRC, IASU, ISRO centers, our launch vehicle centers and the SAC, LPSC, IPRC, along with all our industrial partners, major players to the SAC, along with all our industrial partners who supply us major players to the deliverables in time, quality products, small scale industries who supply chemicals, all the deliverables in time, quality products, suppliers of avionics suppliers of chemicals, and our own propellant ingredients, GOCO facility operators, suppliers of avionics systems, manpower is and our own, our ISRO's GOCO facility operators. Everybody, the industrial manpower went into this. Our ISRO's virtual manpower called the also the prayers and went into this of all our seniors called the retired executives. Also, the prayers and everyone's prayers and our own family seniors. I take this opportunity to pray God Almighty and our for all the blessings in the form of this opportunity to which was the penance by the ISRO God Almighty last all the blessings in the form of this success which was the penance by the ISRO family for last 73 days operations of the Chandrayaan spacecraft. Pranams for the safe and soft landing on lunar surface and further experiments. Thank you. Jai Hind. For its safe and soft landing on lunar surface and further experiments. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Respected Chairman ISRO, Center Directors, dignitaries and my team Chandrayaan-3. Respected Chairman note that our Chandrayaan-3 has been injected into an intended orbit. My team Chandrayaan-3 very happy to note that our Chandrayaan-3 congratulations and thanks to LVM-3 team with very close and all our spacecraft health parameters are normal. Congratulations, including the power generations in both propulsion module and all our spacecraft health parameters are normal. Our journey to moon has begun now for the most awaited soft landing. We'll be closely monitoring and our journey to moon has begun now for the most awaited soft landing. Many critical events are lined up, closely monitoring and controlling the spacecraft insertion into the lunar orbit. Many critical events are lined up and starting from deboost maneuvers and finally the lunar power descent phase for separation of lander. I take this opportunity to thank maneuvers and finally the power descent phase for all the center directors for I take this opportunity to thank who are Chairman ISRO, Director URSC and all the center directors for entrusting me this opportunity behind this mission. My special thanks to the project executives, associate project director behind this mission. Deputy project thanks to project managers, project executives, ISRO's project director, ISRO centers, deputy project directors, who have provided an excellent support in building the spacecraft, ISRO centers. My special thanks to who have provided an excellent support committee in building the spacecraft for their constant guidance throughout the various thanks to project. I also thank export committees for their constant guidance throughout the various work centers and industries who I also thank directly and indirectly to this mission. The various special thanks to URSC council members contributed directly and indirectly across the ISRO centers. My special thanks to URSC council members. Looking forward for the soft landing across the ISRO with all your wishes and blessings from God. Thank you. Looking forward for the soft landing with all your wishes and blessings
we
from
have
God. Thank you.
Our Honorable Minister for Space. We have State for Space, our Honorable Minister for Space amongst us during this historic occasion of State for Space, launching of LVM-3. We would like to hear a few words from him. Historic occasion of success of launching of LVM-3. We would like to hear a few words from him. Over to you, sir.
It is indeed a moment of glory for India and a moment of destiny for all of us. Indeed a moment of glory here at Sriharikota who are a part of the history. And a moment of destiny for all of us over here at Sriharikota who are a part of the history. Thank you, Team ISRO, for making India proud. Thank you, Team ISRO, for making India proud. And thank you, Honorable PM Narendra Modi ji, for having made this possible by unlocking the gates of Sriharikota. For having made this possible by unlocking the gates of Sriharikota and enabling. You would recall, Honorable Prime Minister had very recently said, "Sky is not the limit." You would recall, Honorable Prime Minister had very recently said, "Sky is not the limit." Has gone beyond the limits of sky to discover the unexplored horizons of the universe. Has gone beyond the limits of sky to discover the unexplored horizons of the universe. This day today, the 14th of July, 2023. Ladies and gentlemen, is also this day today, the 14th of July, 2023. Vindication of the dream that Vikram Sarabhai saw 6 decades ago. Vindication of the dream that Vikram Sarabhai saw. He might have been short of resources, but never short of confidence. He might have been short of resources, and when we see those pictures of, but never short of confidence, a launcher vehicle being carried on the carriage of a bicycle, and when we see those pictures of a launcher vehicle without any remorse, without any slightest embarrassment, that is because without any remorse, Vikram and his team had faith in themselves. That is because faith in India's potential. His team faith in India's acumen. And today here, faith in India's potential, faith in India's acumen, and indigenous capabilities. We are living up to the ideal of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Indigenous capabilities, living up to the ideal of Atmanirbhar Bharat. As Mother India enters into the next 25 years of this Amrit Kal, Mother India, she pledges, enters into the next 25 years global Amrit Kal in the emerging world scenario, a leading global role. Thank you in the emerging and world scenario. Congratulations once again. Century. Thank you and congratulations once again.
Thank you, sir. We will also introduce the directors of the centers who have done all those great work of building the rocket. We will also introduce the directors of the centers for Chandrayaan-3 who have done all those great work of building the rocket and made all those scientific instruments for Chandrayaan-3. The Chandrayaan spacecraft itself are going to handle the rest of the mission systems and also the tracking and the ground stations and agencies who are going to handle the rest of the mission. So I request the directors of those centers to join. First, Director of Vikram Sarabhai Space Centre. We are here, so I request the directors of those centers to join. First, Director of Vikram Sarabhai Space Centre.
Good afternoon, India. Last 1 year, this is the 10th mission, including the precise landing of the reusable launch vehicle. 10th mission, including the precise landing of the reusable launch vehicle. This is the 7th mission of LVM-3. So with this successful mission, with this the success rate of 7th mission of LVM-3 100%. The success is the ideal vehicle for this. The success rate of LVM-3. Some of the changes that we are incorporating the ideal vehicle for Gaganyaan implemented here. Some of the changes that we are incorporating in Gaganyaan crossed the reliability of 0.9 and inching forward. The Mark 3 has crossed the reliability of 0.9 and inching forward. The entire ISRO community, especially the VSC community and all launch vehicle centers, to salute industry partners, ISRO community, especially the VSC community and all launch vehicle centers, sub-assemblies, industry partners. In fact, this is the third launch of LVM making the sub-assemblies, and testing. In fact, realizing the third launch of LVM testing 1 year and then launching, realizing the stages, assembling, testing, and then launching 3 LVM-3s in 1 year is a Herculean task. I salute the industry as well as all the ISRO centers. And I wish all the very best. We know that when the beginning is good, and I the ending has to be good. all the very best. All the very best. When the beginning is good for its solitary journey through the vastness of space. All the very best for making a feather-like soft landing in the fourth vastness of space. Good luck and for making a feather-like soft landing in the fourth week of
Dr. Narayanan,
August.
Director LPSC.
Good luck. Thank you.
Dr. Narayanan, Director LPSC.
Good afternoon to all of you. It is a historical event for Indian space program. Good afternoon to all of you. And it is a historical event all the Indians for Indian space program. On this movement, the occasion of the and successful launch of the Chandrayaan for all the Indians across the globe. Three in movement, one spacecraft of the successful launch of the highest level of precision. By our heaviest launch vehicle, one spacecraft in the required orbit. After the two launches of LVM-3 vehicle, by our heaviest launch vehicle, this vehicle is realized in the record. After the two launches of LVM-3 vehicle, once again, here, all the vehicles is realized in the record. Demonstrated the seventh successive, once again, successful launch. All the vehicle systems have performed. As you all know, the entire spacecraft community has put wholehearted effort during last 4 years. And the entire spacecraft community has put great scientific efforts during last 4 years for this mission, and we have realized the entire vehicle marvelous great scientific satellite as predicted. For this mission, the entire precision in which the satellite is expected launched as per the reliability of this vehicle. The precision in which the satellite is launched shows the reliability of this vehicle. Launch vehicle and we too have stage C-25 stage it has performed extremely well along with all other vehicle systems. The L-1 stage C-25 stage it has performed extremely well along with all other vehicle systems. Spacecraft we to the moon. Two more for soft propulsion modules. I think it is one for taking the well integrated system to the moon. Another one for soft today's success is the culmination of the well integrated the system smart and hard work. Today's success is the culmination of the dedicated of ISRO and hard work of all the ISRO team members. All and the work culture of will be ISRO and grand success and we'll have the successful soft landing. All further on this occasion will be let me congratulate and compliment and we'll have the successful soft landing. Our family occasion who really congratulate and compliment the partners from ISRO industry and academia and the various really sacrificed. Thank you. The partners from industry and academia and the various review fora.
The Chandrayaan craft was built at the URO Satellite Center, so I request the Director of URC to speak. The Chandrayaan craft was built at the URO Satellite Center, so I request the Director of URC to speak.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I take this opportunity to first thank my colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. The launch I take this opportunity to first providing a textbook-like launch for Chandrayaan-3 on its journey towards the moon. Thank you very much. Like launch and Chandrayaan-3 on its journey towards the moon. And thank you very much. Mentioned and realizing this kind of launch vehicle, third launch vehicle within a year's time is indeed a helpful task. Launch vehicle. Thank you very much. Third launch vehicle for the effort that has been put by all the members of the launch vehicle. Thank you very much for the effort that has been put by them. All the members of the Chandrayaan-3 community and the Mohan was telling that it is a penance. In fact, Chandrayaan-3 of the Chandrayaan-3 Mohan was telling that it is a penance. In fact, it is a penance of the Chandrayaan-3 today as an outcome. It is sitting like a brain sitting inside the head of a human being. As an outcome, it is mighty vehicle on top of that brain sitting inside the head of a human being. And it was such a mighty vehicle on top of that. Happy moment to see that satellite getting separated. And it was such a work continues from happy moment to see that days getting separated. We reach the our work continues from now for the next 42 days. Touchdown softly on we reach the so we'll speak the rest of the things after the soft touchdown softly on top of moon. So we'll speak the rest of the things. Thank you very much for all the members landing on top the satellite community and the industry. Thank you very much for all the which has been continuing for several years. The satellite community and I'm sure and the industry future also. For your support which has been continuing over several years and I'm sure will continue in future also. Thank you very much.
Important role in our scientific instruments and building of the satellites. Space Applications Center Ahmedabad plays very important role in our scientific instruments and building of the satellites. Over to Director SAC, Nilesh Desai.
At the outset, let me compliment Team ISRO for this excellent work and especially the vehicle team as well as the project compliment Team ISRO and as we begin this historic and especially journey towards moon vehicle team as well as the project team. Well begun is held up done as it is said. Journey towards moon that will succeed in our efforts and held up done as it is on moon. So ensure that secured manner with a soft landing in our effort and endeavor to land on moon, all the best to safe and in secured manner with a soft landing directly or indirectly 45 days. So I wish all the best to the project team, spacecraft team directly or indirectly, my team at Space Application Center, to the project team, spacecraft team, hazard detection and avoidance system which will help for a secured and safe landing sensors and others. Once again I thank hazard detection and avoidance system which will help for a secured and safe landing on moon. So once again, I
Director of
all
this center,
Satish
Dhawan Space Centre, is the chairman of the Launch Authorization Board and also realizing the solid motors of this rocket. So Space Centre is the chairman of the Launch Authorization Board and also realizing the solid motors of this rocket. So over to Director SDS Sriharikota.
Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, Dr. Jitendra Singh, respected Chairman, our mentors, Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, Dr. Jitendra Singh, and the entire ISRO family, respected Chairman, our mentors, we have very successful launch here, and hearty congratulations. The entire ISRO family to all the LVM-3, M4 and Chandrayaan-3 missions. We have very successful launch, so and hearty congratulations. Once again, the fat boy, all the LVM-3, done its job and Chandrayaan-3 mission, and put a very precisely. Once again, the fat boy, prestigious, has done its job. Lunar mission Chandrayaan-3, very precisely. And I congratulate the SDC team in the transfer orbit. Throughout this launch, we had many launch campaigns. Congratulate the SDC team. Along with that, throughout this launch, we had many launch campaigns of weather conditions here. Along with that, we are proud to have this in the prescribed the weather conditions here between July 2019. We have successfully launched LVM-3 in the prescribed, and we had a very good smooth campaign here, and all the hearty and we had a very good smooth campaign team, as well as for the last 2 months, congratulations hosting the Chandrayaan-3 team here and carrying out all the for the last 2 months to make sure that Chandrayaan-3 team for the mission and carrying out all the. I also thank our entire logistics team who handled ready for the mission throughout this campaign. And I also thank our entire logistics team who handled this and I crowd throughout this campaign. Thanks to the various Indian industries who are now participating in various aspects of my sincere thanks to the various Indian industries assembly activities who are now participating in various aspects of to make it solid motor processing as well as the assembly activities of the future to come. Launch vehicle. I wish to make it successful mentioned, and I wish the last week of August to have in the future successful soft and I wish Chandrayaan-3 as mentioned on the last week of August to have a successful soft landing of Chandrayaan-3 lander on the moon surface and to make history. Once again,
I request all center directors to join on the podium. Please come, all of you. I request all center directors to join on the podium. Please come, all of you. Can you lower? Please come. Please come here. Please come. Please come here. Come.
We've got a clicker. Green is for the next button. Last one to Bros somewhere. Welcome back, sir. If National Research and Innovation Agency making a presentation, we request you to please take your seat here in front. And thereafter, Space Angel Australia and SABR in Australia. The presentations will be made, ladies and gentlemen, from this podium. We also have a clicker for your convenience. The clicker, the slide changer, as you can see, has a green button, which is to go ahead on your slides, and the red button is to go back, should you skip a slide. And the other thing that I have to announce is each presenter is going to get 3 minutes. We request you to please stay within time limit, and a buzzer will be sounded at the end of 2 minutes 30 seconds. So that will alert you when you have 30 seconds remaining. Additionally, there's going to be a timer running on the topmost right corner of your screen for you to assess time.
Excuse me, just to be sure, I'm from Dassault Aviation. Do you have the slides here on
The slides are going to be with the console, but I'll
so they have it.
I'm sure they'll have it. If you've submitted them, they'll have it.
Okay.
You've already given them, right? Because yours is the fourth one.
Okay.
I mean, this sixth actually, because first we have industry bodies.
Okay. Hello.
Yes, sir. So the lady in white, there, she's the one who will guide you. The lady in the white. Yes. Thank you. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are now starting with the Space Business Connect session. In this session, we have actually invited overseas and Indian companies to make a pitch about their companies. We have a total of 49 companies as well as 2 industry associations whose representatives are going to be making a pitch presentation. As I said earlier, we request each speaker to be brief and complete their talk in under 3 minutes. Before we begin with the pitch presentation session, we'd like to extend a very warm welcome to Dr. Pavan Goenka, Chairman InSpace, who's going to be chairing this session. We extend a very warm welcome to Mr. Somnath S., Secretary, Department of Space and Chairman ISRO, seated on the head dais. And we also extend a very warm welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Dr. Vinod Kumar, Director Promotion in Space, and Mr. Shantanu Bhattavdekar, who's the Scientific Secretary of Indian Space Research Organization. Let's extend a hand and welcome the dignitaries in our midst. And I extend a very warm welcome to all the distinguished delegates. And ladies and gentlemen, with that, I would first, of course, request Dr. Pawan Goenka, Chairman in Space, to do the opening remarks. Can we have the microphone on, switched on the dais, please?
Good afternoon, everyone. Secretaries, DOS, and my other colleagues here. Welcome to the grand finale of a hectic 2 days of schedule. And as was mentioned by Swarya, that we have about 50 people who will be presenting their pitch on their company. And this will be a Guinness Book of World Record probably for 50 people to finish their talk in 2.5 hours. And that too engineers and scientists and business people. So no politicians though. So so let's see how we manage that. But let me just say it's in a way continuation of what we talked about in the morning, where we talked about what each country is doing, and now we are talking about what some of the companies are doing. We have a very good lineup of companies that will be making the presentations. And I think you will find, as I looked at some of the presentations, that fair amount of work is happening all over the world, something that none of us perhaps have a full view of. And when you go through this impressive presentation, we will really realize that private sector has come of age when it comes to the space sector. I'm going to request my colleague, Dr. Vinod Kumar, who is Promotion Director in space, to make an opening statement, and then we will start the presentations.
Thank you, sir. Respected Sri Somnath-ji, Secretary Department of Space, and Dr. Pawan Goenka, Chairman in Space. Ladies and gentlemen, very good afternoon. On behalf of G20 SELM Organizing Committee, I extend a warm welcome to all of you to this amazing Space Business Connect session. During this session, these presentations are planned by global space industry. It is indeed a very significant day as we gather here to witness the cutting-edge innovation and capabilities of space industries from around the world. Friends, we are witnessing a new space era in human history where the space industries are working to revolutionize our understanding of the universe. I am honored to be here before you all as we embark on this journey that we shape the future of space explorations. It is truly inspiring to witness the incredible growth and potential of the global and Indian space industry. The blossoming Indian space industry has garnered worldwide attention and admiration in recent times. You should have read a recent article in New York Times, Explosive Growth of Indian Space Tech Startups. I am pleased to see that out of total 50 plus presentations, over 60% are from Indian industry. Your dedication, ingenuity, and relentless pursuit of excellence have positioned Indian space sector to be reckoned with within the global space community. Friends, the space industry with its ever-expanding opportunities has the power to transform not only the understanding of our universe, but also everyday lives of here on the Earth. Under various verticals of space, I would like to express my gratitude to the G20 SELM Organizing Committee for this initiative. Your commitment to nurturing the space ecosystem is commendable, and we are privileged to have your unwavering support. The potential partnership that can develop here can propel your ventures to new heights. Without further ado, let us embark on this remarkable journey of limitless possibilities. Friends, new space era has begun. Thank you, and let the presentation begin. Please stick to the allotted time, as we have to have presentation from 50 plus presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we will first start with the presentations from the industry bodies. So I'm going to request Mr. Anil Kumar Bhatt, Director General of ISPA, Indian Space Association, to please make his presentation. Sir.
Good afternoon and Jai Hind. Chairman ISRO, Chairman in Space, dignitaries on the stage, and industry delegates in the Space Economy Leaders Meeting. It's my honor to represent the Indian space industry here, and I will quickly go through. Some of that has been spoken in the last 2 days, would be a repetition. Please pardon me for that, but I would skip most wherever that is required. The Indian Space Association was made in October 2021 to create an enabling environment for strengthening the private industry in the Indian space sector and to propel India to the global forefront in the entire space ecosystem. And our focus areas were, of course, most importantly, unified for the policy framework, for energizing business growth, to interface with the defense and security agencies in India, for capacity and knowledge building, and for international partnerships. During our inauguration, these are the 4 frameworks the Prime Minister gave us. The first was allow the private sector freedom of innovation. Government to play the role of an enabler. We have to prepare the next generation for the future in space and treat the space sector as a resource for the progress of the common man. We today have these members I am flashing to you to just flash to you the major industry players in space which are there in India. 7 of our founding members, 9 of our core members, all of these have been suppliers of components or vendors to ISRO. And now we are looking at them to evolve as independent entities to do end-to-end work in space. We have associated members also, which are also some of them international companies, and we have a large number of startups. Putting them as per their expertise, this is how the upstream, midstream, and downstream looks in India. This slide was flashed yesterday by the chairman of InSpace. What I wanted to add is from September last year, when the draft telecommunication policy was taken out, and thereafter the draft geospatial policy, and in April this year, the release of the space policy, these have been very important events in the growth of the Indian space sector. And we are awaiting the FDI policy, which we are hopeful will be coming very soon. Notwithstanding that, activities by our industry members have already started in India. This is how the startups have grown today, with a total about 148 which are there recorded, and much more who have registered themselves with InSpace. The chairman ISRO, in one of his talks 6 months back, coined a new word called the National Space Enterprise of India. And what he said was, beyond ISRO, now it is NSIL, InSpace, the entire Indian Space Association, and the entire Indian space industry, that includes startups and academia. And all these, which form the space enterprise, would lead India's future space journey. Of course, many of our industry members will be supported and handheld by ISRO, which has a legacy of more than 60 years. Move the next slide, please. We have had a very positive indication even before the government had announced the policy in 2020, and this is the kind of investment which our startups received in India. And every year it has been increasing, and in 2023 we are very confident that it will cross the figures which are there for 2022. Some of this was again flashed by my chairman, but I would like to highlight to you some of the major activities which has happened is, of course, firstly is the signing of the contract for the PSLVs, 5 PSLVs, with HAL and L&T consortium. Then is Skyroot, which was a startup which just came up in 2018 and was able to launch in November 15, 2021. Agnikul is another company which is making a 3D printed semi-cryogenic engine which has been tested on ground, and we hope they would be launching very soon this year. We had a historical launch of 72 satellites in 2 launches for OneWeb, which happened last year and this year in April. Digantara, again a startup, has successfully launched the world's first commercial space-based weather monitoring systems. Pixel has been able to launch 3 satellites and has also got a contract from NRO in USA. Dhruva has launched 2 nano satellites, while Nelco and Telesat are successfully have had a demo on LEO in India. Ajista, just in June, on 10th June, has launched their first satellite. These are just some of the many successes we have had in the last 1 year after the new policy was announced. And in all this, hand-holding by ISRO and support from InSpace has been a very, very major and important factor in the growth of our private sector. These are the other activities which have happened. I'll not go through each one of them. We also got a very policy which I mentioned in April, which gives an opportunity to NGEs to do everything possible, be it in communication, remote sensing, navigation, and in all domains, including space mining and extraterrestrial activities. A lot of faith which has been put in non-government entities by the government, and I'm very sure that our industry will live up to these expectations. We have released certain documents. This document I just wanted to highlight. We had got with E&Y, we had got a study done last year on what is the overall Indian space economy compared to the world one, and the figures by their prediction by 2025, we would have an economy of about 13 billion. In various segments, the figures are given there. Of course, launch vehicles would be the least, about 1 billion. This is what the division of the sectors and the likely percentages growth which are likely to happen in satellite manufacture, launch services, ground segments, and satellite services. The largest growth, of course, would be in the launch services. We have also done a study. We had a meeting along with US and IIT Madras, where we were looking at the association of all space entrepreneurs in the Indo-Pacific. We all met there and we agreed that we would be making an association for all of us being together. On the aspect of space technology parks, many of our states in India have been moving in it. Kerala, Gujarat, Trivandrum, where at one spot they are providing all the opportunities for our space industry companies and especially the startups. We in ISPA carry out two conclaves. One is the Indian Space Conclave, which we started last year, and we had the Minister and Chairman ISRO there to support us, and a Defense Space Symposium where we looked into what all the defense forces would require, all the three services, and we have been able to get 75 defense challenges for the industry from the Ministry of Defense. We would be having the next conclave from 4th to 6th October this year, and we would welcome all of you for that. I finish here. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, sir. And with